Welcome to another edition of Mike and Scott's BS Session, home of the latest news in the bass fishing industry. So pull up a chair and get ready. This is not your mama's fishing show. Okay, enough of the blah, blah, blah. Here's Mike and Scott.
Blah, blah, blah. Enough of the blah, blah, blah.
Enough of the blah, blah, blah.
I think we're going to get another hour of the blah, blah,
blah, blah. There's going to be lots of blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to post a picture up here. Hold on. Cancel.
Is it a scorcher out today or what?
Oh, it's a hottie.
I love this.
Me too. This is my kind of weather.
Well, I mean, I love hot weather.
Yeah, this is my kind of weather. I like this. I'm golden. Like, bring it.
Bring it. You're busy. What are you doing over?
You and the fan that just invaded our garage to meet us and meet you.
Yeah.
He's already met me, so now he wants to meet you.
It's your grass guy, right?
It's the grass guy who's like crazy St. Croix fisherman dude.
It's your grass supplier.
Yeah, he's the man. He is the man. Let me get the shot out here.
So tonight we don't have your average guest.
No, we don't.
We have an Evinrude Pro-Staffer. But it's not what you think.
No?
It's no longer about the little greenbacks swimming around.
Okay.
We have a guest on tonight that doesn't fish bass. Can you believe that?
No. Do they exist?
Well, apparently so. He's going to be on the show tonight. A walleye fisherman.
Yes, he will. Something I wanted to talk about tonight. Tomorrow, for anybody that doesn't know, there's a crazy shindig going on in Greenfield Park in Montreal.
Really?
Yeah.
In Greenfield Park in Montreal?
Yeah, Greenfield Park in Montreal. Right?
Okay.
People who are not around here.
The shindig.
The shindig is the lymphoma leukemia.
Right.
Spaghetti dinner.
That's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. And we're going to be attending that on behalf of Evinrude. We're going to give us some prizes out there tomorrow night and supporting a great cause from Teresa Belanger.
Yes.
Teresa Belanger, who is a single hottie, who's actually on the market, right? So we gotta get her hooked up. So you're gonna kill me.
What are you?
She's still gonna kill me.
You a matchmaker now?
When I show up tomorrow, she's gonna hit me with a bat.
Yeah.
She's been waiting.
She's gonna hit you with the bat.
Yeah, with the bat. Yeah, I'm so much trouble now. So that's a done deal.
Yeah. Well, I think you pushed the limits a little bit there, Mike. But
that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Facebook with this shot of Scott and Pro-Staff. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, we have that tomorrow night. That's going from 6 to 10 o'clock at Scotty's in Greenfield Park.
Yep.
It's for a really good cause, lymphoma, leukemia. I lost my fishing partner to leukemia, so I will definitely be supporting this event. Evinrude will be supporting this event. We will be there with bells and whistles on. I don't know what that means, but people say to say that.
Yeah, I don't know why to say it. With bells and whistles?
I don't get it. Like, you're going to
where are you going to wear a whistle? Around your neck?
Yeah, the bell. Well, we won't talk about where you put the bell. But anyway, we'll be there tomorrow night from 6, St. Croix. It's with a capital S, right?
So what time's our guest calling in tonight? 7:45?
Yeah, about 7:45, and then after that,
yeah,
we have webmaster extraordinaire.
Oh no!
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
And
he has the name of the person who has won the iPhone.
Oh,
Navionics. Hallelujah! So Loïc Ayotte will be here. Musky nut extraordinaire. Budding bass.
He was all giddy that musky shit.
Yeah, he was.
Did,
well, we're working on some big stuff. Or actually, I'm not working on it. Loic's working on some big stuff.
Okay.
If you think you liked the Mike Hulbert show, which got crazy listens, wait till you hear, if this comes through, what Loic's working on. That's all I have to say.
All right.
That's all I have to say. It's going to be malade. All right?
So it's going to be a party in the garage.
You've got it. And St. Croix Pro-Staff, here we go.
Holy mackerel. All you do is punch buttons.
Yeah, I know.
All day long.
You got to take care of your peeps.
So what other tidbits you got for us here?
Well, just, it's nothing big, but didn't you go to Florida fish tarpon?
Yes.
And didn't you tell me before you left, everything was aligned?
Everything was aligned.
The full moon.
The full moon was there.
Everything was there. And you know something? I was following people fishing the same area as you.
Yep.
Catching tons of fish. So I'm expecting.
It was on fire.
Yeah, I'm expecting like.
No,
hundreds.
literally, the tarpon were there by the thousands. They were jumping. They were rolling. They were making a racket. We were using live crabs as bait. They call it, it's like a fiddler, a blue crab. It's a
blue crab?
A fiddler crab or a blue crab. Essentially, I go into the bait shop.
Right.
And we were at the first bait shop we stopped at, and I said, "You got any fiddler crabs?" The guy looks at me funny. He goes, "No, we got blue crab." I said, "Okay, I'll take 2 dozen blue crab."
Right.
So the guy says $2 a crab.
What?
$2 a crab. Okay?
$2?
$2. So I said, all right, well, I'll take 2 dozen. So I take the 2 dozen crab. We go, we fish, run out of crab, right?
Well, no, hold on. How many crabs did you buy?
2 dozen.
So you ran out of crab. You hadn't caught a fish?
No, we caught a bunch of fish.
Oh, okay.
So then I go back to the bait shop because I was there for 3 days, right? The fishing.
Right. And you went back to negotiate.
A different bait shop.
Yeah.
A local guy. Now the first bait shop was still 2 hours away from Key West.
Right.
Right? So I go to a local guy in Key West, and I ask him a question. I go, "Hey, what's the difference between the fiddler crab and the blue crab?" You know what he answers me?
What?
He
$3?
goes, no, he goes, "One's a fiddler crab,
one's a blue
crab."
Are you serious?
I said, no. I said, really? I said, there's no other differences?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's how he answered me.
But what was the price difference? Though?
$4.50 a crab.
So this guy's an ingenious businessman.
This guy is the crab guy. We got ripped off like you have no idea. So we bought 2 dozen crabs at $4.50 a crab.
2 dozen? $4.50 a crab?
Yeah.
6?
It was like $150.
54. Yeah, I was gonna say.
It was ridiculous, you know.
Holy crab!
We go through all those crabs.
You know, I've had crabs before, and they didn't cost that much.
I don't want to know how much it cost. $10 in a youth hostel, or?
It was. Well, I was visiting Europe, you know.
Yeah, those things.
I was young. Things
bad
happen.
news. Bad news.
Things happen.
That's why I stay in the
in the hotel.
In the hotels.
Yeah.
So anyway, the crabs are friggin' expensive.
Okay.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
We went to another bait shop the next day because we kept running out of crabs. And I'll tell you another story about tarpon, which I found really interesting.
Right.
So we go to the other bait shop, and this guy buys the crabs from the second guy that we saw that sold them to us for $4.50 a crab.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I asked this guy, I go, "How much are the crabs?"
Another $5.50?
He goes, no. He says, "The price was real high yesterday, but I can do a deal."
Oh, you can do a deal.
$3.50 a crab. I go, well, I'll take 2 dozen, right? But
why does it sound like you're buying donuts?
I know, but the thing is, the guy down the street, I mean, literally, you know, maybe
but that's
a kilometer away.
It's his supplier, right?
Yeah, it's selling them at $4.50. So he was really gouging, you know.
I sense collusion. I sense collusion here.
He saw tourists and he said, "You know what? Let's give it to him."
You know something?
So I gotta say one thing.
Okay.
If you're going to the Keys tarpon fishing,
shop
for your crab. You should not be paying $4.50 a crab.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Last year I
let
paid
me
about
just
that
summarize what you just said. If you're going to Florida to get crabs,
negotiate your
crabs. Negotiate your crabs.
Negotiate your crabs.
Right? Is that basically what you just said?
Exactly what I said.
So, did you come back from Florida with crabs?
No. We ran out of crabs there. I got rid of all my crabs while I was in the Keys.
You got rid of the crabs.
I got rid of the crabs in the Keys.
You know something? That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting right beside you.
I hooked them all on hooks. I hooked every one of those crabs.
You hooked your crabs?
Now, another thing about the tarpon that's really interesting is it's kind of like a docile giant until you hook one, right? When you hook one, it's... So
it's like a sturgeon kind of deal?
Oh, no. No. When you hook a tarpon, that thing will run you, like, it'll spool you. You know?
Well, what are you talking about then? It's docile.
It looks gentle from afar, but when it grabs you, it just goes ballistic. But the thing is also, thing is you're talking about a creature that's at least 4 feet long, okay?
Right.
Starting at 4 feet, going to 6 feet, right? It's not bigger. 100 and some odd pounds.
Right.
Okay, just your average fish.
Uh-huh.
And they're eating crab that are...
Size your hand?
No. Like
Smaller?
Tiny. Like
Smaller?
this. Like,
oh, yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You touch your index finger to your thumb
So about that
and all the way around.
So like the size of a silver dollar.
No, bigger than that.
Bigger, a little bit bigger than silver dollar?
Yeah, the outside of your finger to your thumb. Anyway. And they're mouthing it. They're coming up. You know when a bass mouths your bait? And just it's like tasting the tip of it?
Yeah.
These giants will grab a crab and like suck the juice out of it and leave the shell on the hook.
I don't believe you.
I swear to God.
I think you're lying.
Oh,
I think you're lying.
think what you will.
I think you're lying.
I'm telling you.
They pick up the crab, suck the juice out of it, and then spit the shell out.
Well, no, they leave the shell on the hook, so you can feel them.
So they're doing this.
You can feel them. They're like pulling on the line.
They're sucking the guts out of the crab.
The meat, like
why
right
did
out
you just set the hook?
I did. And you get nothing. So you throw it out back again, and then you feel like he's on it, but he's not really on it.
Like I don't know. Were you like? Was there any alcohol involved in this trip?
No,
none.
I'm telling you,
none.
A little bit.
Oh, okay.
but
that's amazing.
No, but what I'm saying is, sometimes it's a very light bite, and it's surprising. A fish with such a big mouth, you can probably wrap your lips around your entire head, right?
Yeah.
Can go after this little crab and just mouth it. Like you can hook set on them.
Yeah.
And where the hook was,
yeah.
the meat is. But everything else is gone.
Really?
So
serious?
Yeah. They'll cut the crab in half by the hook.
And leave the hook.
Leave the hook
with half the crab.
With half the crab.
You're sneaky little buggers.
It was remarkable. I was amazed that a big fish, like a big mouth fish like that could be
so subtle.
Yeah. And they must have really good eyesight too, because I don't know how they're seeing these little crabs floating in the water. I mean,
well, maybe it's part of the lateral line and noise.
You got current rushing between these two bridges.
But it's just like a bass hearing what do you call it? A crawfish, right? The pitchers go tick, 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 tick.
It's amazing.
And they hear it.
It really is amazing.
You know, they don't know if they hear it. They don't hear it, but they feel it. They feel that vibration, right?
Well, for me, it was just impressive to see. Like the current.
So what was the biggest fish you caught?
Honestly, it's hard to say how big it was. Yeah. I estimated somewhere around 150 pounds.
Okay, and is that technically a big fish, or what's a big tarpon?
It's not a giant. A big tarpon's over 200.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know when
you
I
would
watch.
be considered a big tarpon.
I'm not over 200 pounds.
I know you're working on that.
No, I'm below 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I see
you did the show?
Well, I'm not analyzing you.
Well, you should tell me the show.
You are wearing.
I'm almost at 15
You are
pounds.
wearing a loose T-shirt.
I am almost at 15 pounds now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Almost at 15 pounds. We're going hard. We're running.
So what's your goal?
My goal is I had a goal of 180. 175 to 180. Yeah.
You're gonna disappear.
No. 180. I should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
180. Yeah, 185. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good weight. Yeah. Poor Brian Sorrell. He just got me up on Facebook here, messaging me.
What happened?
He'll be bringing a new guy to the Ripple tomorrow, and he's trying to get rid of the curse. Brian Sorrell has been fishing ripples since mammoth elephant's been walking the planet.
Oh boy!
And he hasn't won one yet. He's got to win one. He's got to get rid of the curse.
You might have
tomorrow,
to give him a gimme.
Well, you know what's tomorrow? He's fishing with a newbie who's never fished a tournament. So maybe that'll be the ticket.
Oh, it's a pike tournament tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow's a pike tournament.
I'd fish it if I had a boat.
Well, if you didn't, you turn into a boat dealer now. You buy boats and sell boats now. You don't run boats.
Hey.
Go borrow Ben's boat.
Yeah, but he said he would lend it to me. I should ask him.
You should. Go pick it up. Hook it up.
Yeah. He says, I would lend you my boat. I said, you would lend me your brand new boat.
Yeah. He's dumber than I thought.
For my boat.
He's dumber than lending you his boat? Never mind.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm just saying.
Anyhow.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Brian will be out there tomorrow, and so you caught 150
pound
tarpon.
Actually, I was at one point. I had the magic touch. I would throw my crab out, and you have to do a drift. You know when you salmon fish?
Yeah.
You got to do the right drift.
Right.
If you don't get the right sweep with the line
in
at the right place, you don't catch fish.
Right, I gotcha.
So I figured out kind of like the sweep.
Right.
And I would cast it out, and then the crab would like subtly fall, and then try.
That's what they're living. Natural.
Yeah,
natural presentation.
Swim down. Like they want to swim down.
Right.
Crab, you know.
Right.
You got guests coming, I think.
I do.
So
I don't know who this is. Okay, hold on. Someone got my keys.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, you should tell Colleen to pick up after herself. Well, Mike has been distracted because somebody was about to walk away with his car keys. So, that being said, he'll probably be back at some point. Anyway, so it's funny to talk to myself about it, but the crab swims down, and you have to have this special sweep. Like you got to figure out the motion, and once you do, it's just inevitable. You're going to end up catching fish, and that's what happened. So I would throw that crab out. It would drift just perfectly, like next to the pilings of the bridge.
Right.
And then, boom, you get whacked. You just feel it, like a subtle take.
So it's like a salmon take. It's sort of, you feel, there's something there.
Yeah.
It's a little like tug.
Yeah.
And you set the hook.
And then when it starts to go,
like
it's a circle hook. So
you don't need to set the hook.
No, you close the bail.
Right.
Because I free line it.
Yeah.
Right. Then I close the bail, and then it's jerking. I go doop, doop, doop. And as tight as you set your drag, he's gonna peel it off.
For sure.
There's no stopping him.
You're not gonna stop a 150-pound fish.
No. Well, you can pull on it, but you'll probably break your line.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I broke 60-pound braided.
You're not gonna turn him around like a flipping jig.
You're not gonna turn him around.
No.
The key is to not let him turn and run. If he turns and runs,
right,
and you haven't unanchored, like you haven't let go of your anchor and started the big motor to run him down,
right,
you're done. It's over. It's over in seconds.
Well, that's not good.
No.
That's not
so you gotta keep his head turned.
Right.
And if you can keep his head turned, then the driver, the captain will have time to get the motor started, get the anchor released, and get onto the fish.
Okay.
But you have to run him down. If you don't run him down with the big motor, forget it.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's a system. Yeah, there's a system in place. You anchor, you tie a buoy to your anchor, and you tie the buoy to your boat.
Okay.
So when you hook up on a fish, you just release the buoy from your boat.
Right.
The anchor and the buoy stay in the water, and you're off. And then you come back, you fight the fish, you bring the fish in, you take a picture with it, or you don't, you do, you don't, whatever. Most of the time you lose the fish before you actually get it to the boat.
Really?
Yeah, because it decides.
But there's a rule. You were telling me about a law.
You don't bring them into the boat.
Yeah, you're not allowed to bring the fish into the boat, right?
Apparently not. No. You can bring him close. You take a picture with it. Like you can lift his head.
Okay.
And we grab them.
Right.
We had a gaff.
Okay.
Okay, that you stick in under his lip.
Right.
So you don't injure the fish more than just like a little hole,
Yeah. So you get a hook mark.
Yeah, a little hook mark.
Okay.
You pull him up, you take a picture with him, and you let him go.
I'm liking it.
That was a blast.
I'm liking it.
It was a blast. But the weather was really tough on us. Very,
really?
Very windy.
Really?
Very windy. And the last day and last evening, it rained so hard, it wasn't even funny. And we got out there. Yeah, it was bad. We got out there. It was like 10 o'clock at night. We wanted to go for the night pass, right?
Okay.
A storm started to brew up. I'm in a 17-foot boat in the ocean, wearing my Mustang survival vest,
jacket,
life vest, and I'm pooping my pants because it's so wavy. I'm in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's so wavy that the boat's shaking. You're in between two bridges, so you got turbulence. It felt like I was in a washing machine,
So you're like on Francis with big wind.
Francis, you're like on Lake Ontario.
Lake Ontario.
With big wind,
okay.
right?
Okay.
And the only thing is, holy mackerel.
No, hold on. I gotta get up and close this. And
where are you going again?
I'll be right back. Hold on.
You're killing the momentum to my story.
No, I'm not. Keep going.
So I don't even remember where I was anymore.
We were talking about the water.
Right. So I felt as though I was in a washing machine, and the flats boats don't have a lip on them, and the front deck isn't very big. So when you're bumping from side to side, it just felt ridiculously unsafe. and wasn't worth the risk. So we packed up and we cut that night very, very short. Went back to our lodge and tried to go to bed early to get a good day's in the next day. The following day, mind you, it was much of the same, only it was daylight, so it wasn't nearly as spooky. And we fished for, half the day, and we called it because it was just torture. We were getting beat up out there. We were bouncing back and forth, up bobbing like a bobber in the water. So it made it very difficult, and it was hard on the body. So we said, you know what? We've caught a bunch. We were somewhere around 15 hookups, so we called it, and that was the end of the trip. But $300 of crab later. That was it. So it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. This is the time, if you're going to go, this is the time of the year they do it. Apparently there's this worm hatch that goes on during this period, and the tarpon go absolutely crazy. That's very impressive to see. They swim in these giant schools, and you can see them busting the top and just rolling over the surface. It's just an impressive fish to do. It's one thing to be into bass fishing and only fish bass fishing. For me, bass fishing is my primary passion when it comes to fishing. But I also like to experience...
Are you running out of stuff?
No.
No?
I also like to experience many other different types of fishing also. Like
catching fish is catching fish. I just spoke to Eric, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's an hour behind. So he thought it was his time zone. So he's calling in a couple of seconds.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good.
That's why I was wondering why he's late, because he's usually a pretty punctual guy.
Yeah.
And, he's an hour behind. So I guess he didn't notice the Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, no worries.
Then I said, no big deal. No big deal.
No.
So what were you doing?
Well, I got off the water.
Right.
I finished the story to our listeners.
Okay.
Well, you weren't there for the story.
Well,
so anyway,
all I know, there's no pictures of any fish. I haven't seen a picture of a fish.
I have some here. I didn't post them on Facebook yet.
I've seen no.
I didn't get that many pictures. The weather was bad. It was pouring rain.
Oh yeah.
It was.
How did your dad do? More importantly, how did your dad do?
Well, this is how it works.
Yeah.
It's a team sport. Tarpon fishing is a team sport.
Okay, that's a bad lead-in.
No, it's true. You need to be multiple guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can't do it by yourself.
Well, guys do it by themselves.
No.
Really?
Well, maybe on a fly boat, fly fishing in the flat.
Yeah.
Even
then you need a guy.
You got to start the big motor.
Yeah.
You can't just fish this.
No.
Somebody's got to run it down. You know?
Okay.
So we all did very well.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had the touch with the crab, so we get the hookups. Then you hand the rod off. You get the guy. Either my father was sitting on a cooler.
Right.
I was standing on
a cooler. What?
A cooler was our sandwiches. Hey,
sandwiches.
Hey,
okay.
I brought my father. He made sandwiches.
Your dad's like bringing your wife, eh?
Yeah,
like he brings all the food.
Yeah, everything was all set.
He prepares everything.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
No, that's good.
So, but the thing with the night fishing is, like when it gets turbulent, like if you fall in the water, okay?
Yeah.
Life vests or not, A, there's hammerhead sharks all over the place.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, great.
B, the current is running at the fastest current.
80 miles an hour.
Yeah, one way or
so you might float, but you're like a bobbing shish kebab for sharks down the
and nobody's going to find you.
Well,
it's an ocean.
Yeah,
you're being sucked out to sea.
Yeah.
You're not being sucked out where you can paddle off to a shoreline somewhere.
No, that's really not good.
If you fall out of the boat at night,
you're
gone.
So it sounds like you had a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
But you were crapping your pants.
Well, the night pass we called it quits. It was just it wasn't worth the risk.
No.
It was too wavy, bouncing around, setting the anchor was risky.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pulling on this anchor, you're trying to lock it in.
Something happens, you're overboard, and it's done.
Over.
It's done. Yeah,
it's over. You'll never be seen. Well, I'm going to hold my iPhone up. Here, find me.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to go to a commercial break, pay some bills.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we'll be right back with our special guest for this week, Mr. Eric Olson.
At Mustang Survival, our recreational products are designed, developed, and made from the same products used by the world's most demanding users. From bass fishermen to leisure boaters, sailors, and kids, Mustang's products are designed for maximum comfort, mobility, and fun. So whether you're looking for the best kids' life jacket, a comfortable PFD for yourself, or the best quality anti-exposure suit for your ice fishing trip, Mustang, the official life preserver of Mike and Scott's BS Session and FishinCanada.net. At Mustang, we save lives for a living.
Well, there you go. That pretty well sums up what you went through, right?
I would not have wanted to be there without a life vest.
No, for sure. Guaranteed.
It's not worth it.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that unfortunately make that mistake.
Yeah, well, if you're in a bigger boat with big sidewalls, I can understand not putting the vest on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a flats boat in the ocean with heavy current at night or even during the day,
you got to be a life jacket.
Why do you want to take a chance? You're asking for trouble. It's a death wish.
Hey, tonight's guest.
Yep.
Tonight's guest.
Let's bring him on. He's been on hold now.
He's from Red Wing, Minnesota. He has 8 top 10 tournament finishes, and he has a biggest weight of 36 pounds 4 ounces in the 2008 FLW Walleye Tour on Lake Erie, Ohio.
What is a walleye?
What is a walleye? We're going to find out tonight. I can tell you right now, when we booked this guy, I had a lot of calls during the week that said, you got to talk to him about his hand lining, you got to talk to him about this, you got to talk to him about that.
Right.
So he's got a lot of fans out there.
All right. Without further ado,
let's bring this guy on and give him a talk. Mr. Eric Olson, how are you tonight?
Welcome to the show.
I'm doing well. You forgot the fact that I won a couple tournaments too.
Yeah, well, leave it to Mike. His intros are not perfect. He's working towards it.
Well, is he saying that we're not pumping him up enough?
I just had to throw that in there to make myself feel better. That's all.
Oh, okay, little ego stroking going on. I got no problem with that. How you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm just actually heading up to do doing a charity tournament tomorrow. It's called the Teen Challenge, and head up to northern Minnesota with a friend of mine, and we're going to do a little fun and kind of giving back to the industry that's been real beneficial to me. So having a little fun with that.
Oh, that's great. That's great news.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, well, I hope you're getting better weather than we have scheduled actually for this weekend here. Eric, like I mentioned in the intro, and I'm going to throw this one at you first because this is the one I've had many, many, many questions about, and that is this hand lining technique that apparently you have totally mastered and like your boss with it on the Mississippi River. Just what the heck are they talking about?
Well, I shouldn't say I've mastered it. I mean, honestly, in any fishing technique, you're always learning. You're always learning, and once you say you've mastered it, I think it's time to just say, you know what, I don't know enough about it, I better get out, because I'm not willing to admit that I don't know everything, So to say that, no, but I think I've done pretty well at it and pretty successful at it. But it's really a technique that was started back in the Detroit River, and it was used when the water got very, very dirty and very, very swift. It was, obviously very strong river current conditions, and you're basically using about 1.25 pounds, 1.5 pounds lead weight on the bottom of it's called a shank, which is a section of plastic coated cable that has clevises every 6 inches, and off those, it's a 6-foot long shank, and then of course it's attached to a reel. Now this is like similar to a clothesline reel, where you can pull it out and then it automatically will reel itself back in, but with the right tension. So you don't have a rod. It's mano a mano. It's kind of like ice fishing, tip-up fishing. You're pulling the fish in by hand. And the key is it's boat presentation, but this is the way it works. The clevises on that shank, being every 6 inches, basically we set it up to attach a shorter lead on the bottom, and usually it's a 15-foot lead on the bottom and a 30-foot lead on the top. And that's usually a starting distance. You go double the distance on the top section as you do on the bottom, and you have them separated by about 2 feet. So let's say the bottom lead would be about a foot from the sinker or that lead weight. 2 clevises up, and then you go another 2, and you attach the 30-foot segment. So you have the 15-footer on the bottom, and you have the 30-footer on the next one up, on the 2-foot up. And what you do then is you attach I use a floating Rapala original floaters, and I usually use a 7 on the bottom and 9 on the top. And then recently I've also used what's called the flat wrap And it's a newer bait, but the real advantage in the flat wrap is it's a wider profile. And the technique is very, very good in river conditions because when you get into dingy or really, really dirty water, you want to give the fish a chance to see something. And when it goes to those color conditions, I'll go against diggers and beat them every time because the jig is so small. Yeah, and it's really not a good scenario.
So, Eric, what's the advantage, like, of fishing it hand fishing versus using a rod for that technique? Is it doable with a rod, or is it just?
No, well, you can. One of the techniques that you can do is it's called rod lining or pole lining. You use a lighter weight, so therefore the line angle is much more of a long angle out the back of the boat. And I find that with the hand line, I'm able to go 1.25 pounds in weight. I'm able to keep it down even in the most swift conditions and catch fish when the other guys, you're trying to control lead core or trying to control three-ways or trying to control anything in an up current scenario that would normally be able to pull a fish. You'd never be able to do it because you don't have enough line and you're all way out behind the boat and it doesn't work. So the advantage is you're able to get that bait down. Now, here's the real key to this technique, guys. It's boat handling. The key is boat handling, and here's the reason. Normally when you're trolling a crankbait, you're going to troll directly up the current. Agree?
Right.
You're trolling right up, or in a lake, you're trolling a straight line. Well, the advantage you have when you're in a river, and this is why rivers oftentimes are kind of confusing for guys to fish. But what happens is this. Current it adds a third dimension. It's not just depth and distance off the shore. It's not just speed, but it's actual velocity. So what's happening is, as far as direction goes. So what you're doing is you're not going to move directly upstream. What you're going to do is you're going to move laterally or sideways in the current, and so you're moving kind of diagonally up the river. What happens when you move diagonally, instead of those baits tracking over the exact same path, they separate. And virtually, because you're using a longer, double the length lead in the top and a shorter lead in the bottom, they'll be almost exactly the same point, about 3 or 4 inches off the bottom. And what happens is then when the baits separate, you're actually sweeping the bottom and giving the fish an opportunity in covering areas that you will never, ever, ever going to be able to cover if you run straight up the current. And the advantage is this. When you start coming up the current, you're going to work up to the top of the break line and work all the way back down to the break line. Normally when you're trolling, you have the opportunity to do that in any type of line counter or lead core scenario. Why? Because you're set for a certain depth, and you're not ever going to try and go shallower because you're going to start hammering and snag up. If you go deeper, you're never going to stay in contact with the bottom. So the hand line gives you the ability to stay in contact and right in that fish's face 90% plus of the time, and that's really what it's all about, getting that bait in front of the fish and staying in contact with that fish.
That's wow, that's a really interesting technique.
Yeah, it seems like it's something that's going to take a lot of work to
well, it's not
perfect,
so much. You got to perfect it, and then it keeps the bait on the fish.
I have a follow-up question because it's a little bit intriguing. Like, usually when we're fishing with a rod and reel, I mean, retrieving the fish once you've hooked up on the fish.
Right.
You know, you have your reel, you have your drag. Right. But hand fishing, it seems like it's an entirely different dynamic. How do you bring a monster walleye back to the boat with your hands?
Well, there's two things that come up. One is, first question when I get somebody new coming in, it's like, well, oh boy, now what? What do I do now? How do I, So the first thing is panic, of course, the first time somebody gets one on. The first line is, I think I got one. It's that, oh no, now what do I do sound in their voice, no matter how many times you go over it with them. And then it's, oh, it's a good one, it's a good one. Well, two things happen. Obviously, you have the weight in the bottom and you have the line up the back. So what happens is the line actually has a bit of a shock absorption in it because you've got a cable going down at an angle and you've got the line coming off at a flat angle. So it actually kind of acts as dampener there. So what you're doing is you're simply pulling it up. Now, the first thing you're going to do is driving the boat. I basically just stall the kicker motor out and basically stop it so that you're not moving upstream. And what I usually do is I usually use a bow mount with that, get the nose into right straight ahead. Otherwise, as you know, if you turn the boat one direction in the current, things kind of go south in a quick hurry and you're all going whatever direction. Now, if it's a big fish, now that's if it's a smaller fish, 18, 20 inches and under. If it's a big fish, what you will do is you will completely slow the boat down and make sure you pick the right side. So in other words, if the fish is on your left or port side, you turn the boat a little bit to the left, and then you suddenly put the gear in neutral in the engine, and you drift the boat downstream with the fish. You just pull them in and make a pile of line like in the bottom of the boat? Or?
Yeah. That's what
right. Now, the advantage is when you're doing it, you're going to use about a 20-pound test. I use 20-pound suffix on it, but I use 20-pound test line because it doesn't get tangled up. You can lay it at the bottom of the boat and no sweat. And if there's any abrasions that go on with rock or whatever, no problem. It's not going to break. So
it doesn't get all knotted up either.
It's not an issue at all, and really, when you get a big fish on, it's a trip. I mean, it is the coolest thing ever because it's you and the fish, and you start feeling that thing tugging on it. You're just like, oh boy. Yeah. It really is something else. Now, here's the other advantage, guys. In this technique, the advantage is this. I wrote an article about, I think it was last year. It's called Cross Current Tactics, and one of the things that can happen when people troll upriver, they may hit one fish. And then they have to go all the way up, they get nothing, and then they come back, and then they hit a fish in the same exact spot. Well, you can't stall out a bait if you're trolling it in those, standard long line or lead core or fire line fashion, because stalling it will basically stall the bait and won't do anything. In the technique of hand lining, and there's another technique I'll give you a shout with about in a second, but what happens is I can slow the boat down, so I will move laterally in the current. Once I find where those fish are, I can work the whole school of fish, pinpoint where they're all at, and stay on them and never have to move. I can just dodge the jiggers, go to the right, go to the left, let them slip downstream past me, and I'm good. And I'm back on the fish again. So I don't have to pass them up and keep going, because anytime I'm moving laterally, that bait is moving.
Point, Eric. That's a really interesting point, Mike. That's a perfect segue into my next question for you, and that is, with speed control and boat control being so important in walleye fishing, all right, what would you say is the most important piece of equipment if you were going to talk to guys that are up-and-coming walleye fishermen, or they want to put more fish in their boat? No, I don't think it's your fingers.
No, it's not. Well, one of the big things that obviously there's a lot of different things that come out in the industry recently, and then one of the things that I was involved with recently in development about a year and a half, 2 years ago, was the Evinrude 15 HL. It's a kicker engine, and of course everybody's going, oh great, now we're talking product. But here's the real significant difference in this particular engine. It gives me the capability to dial in any speed I can get, and I guarantee you there's probably everybody knows what I'm talking about with a kicker engine. It's almost impossible in some cases to dial in the same speed, duplicating speeds. And really, if you look at it, if you find fish are being caught at a certain speed, it's imperative you get that bait back at that speed. So, important. Now, what does a 15 HL bring to the table? Well, a couple things. Number one, touch troll. There's not another engine out there in its class that has touch troll. Now, you can add other features to engines. It's the same kind of thing. There's the add-on, whatever you want to call them, digitrolls or whatever. But this is built right into the engine. And the fact that it is going to be a fuel-injected engine, it's direct fuel-injected, it gives you the ability to dial it in and stay on that regardless of what happens with the air temperature, anything, cold, warm, whatever, it's going to be dialed in and be on track 100% of the time. Now,
you're getting
the other part of it is, what's that?
You're getting consistent performance.
What's that now? It's just performance?
No, consistent. Like it's
consistent performance.
Like
Absolutely. Yep. Consistent performance. You can duplicate your speeds. Now, the other thing that's important as well is, let's say you're using a tiller handle and you're going to operate and you're going to increase your speed. Now, most everybody knows what I'm talking about when you say, well, most of the throttle ramps are so steep you can't dial it in. You're on the speed and all of a sudden you're going too fast. One of the things when we developed that engine, we flattened out the throttle ramp so it's very linear and gradual in the trolling speeds that you're going to want to have. The advantage then is you can even target it and get close while you're working the tiller throttle, then dial it in with the touch troll. Now, this is how accurate touch troll is. It'll get with you to a increase of speed for every touch of 1/10 of a mile an hour.
Okay.
That's on a flat, calm lake. Now, if you're in a river, it's even more infinite as far as the increase in speed.
That's crazy.
Cool.
That's nuts.
Cool.
Wow.
And the advantage is bait speeds. I get it to whatever bait speed I want. Now, let's throw the other thing into the mix. Now let's throw the ability to control your boat and maybe even pull the boat sideways a little bit more so if you can just with the kicker engine, is throw the Minn Kota iPilot onto it. Then you've got the bow being able to be steered, as well as the fact that you're going to have the autopilot where you catch a fish, you can lock the nose in and keep the boat going straight ahead.
Right. That's insane. So you could technically run your boat on the electronics with the Minn Kota on the bow and have perfect boat control.
And the real advantage is that then you can also operate the bow mount to pull the boat by simply steering with the iPilot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I mean, walleye fishing seems to be a completely different style of fishing. I mean, than bass fishing.
Well, look, he's talking about boat
trolling,
control, right?
Yeah.
Boat control is critical.
Boat control is critical in all types of fishing, you know.
I mean, critical in the sense where he's trolling.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more.
It's not like bass, right?
Yeah,
we don't troll for bass, but he's trolling. He's got with his Evinrude, he's able to get pinpoint speed control.
Yeah.
And then he's able to use the Minn Kota on the bow mount to get directional control.
Right.
And he's able to also adjust his speed increases in increments because of that slide.
Yeah.
To an infinite level, like just so precise.
Yeah. Like half.
It's crazy. That's nuts.
Points of a mile an hour.
Points of a mile an hour. That's crazy. Eric, we were talking to a couple of guys this summer, and I asked them all, you know, when June and July kick in, typically the summer months kick in, they're telling me they're crankbait fishermen. They all go, they put everything else away, they put the jigs away, and they start going into the crankbaits. You tell me, when we had our conversation, that crankbaits are not only for the summer season, and you use them at another time. When is that?
I use them all the time.
What?
It's one of those key. Yeah, I use cranks all the time. You know, this is the funny part about it. You know, you look at using crankbaits. In fact, the last tournament we had on the river, the water temperature was 37 degrees, and I'm trolling crankbaits. And I'm casting crankbaits. So, realistically, crankbaits aren't just for summer anymore, is what it comes down to. And you find that a couple real important things come into play as well. People, when you use a crankbait, there's more than one way to use it, and obviously there's more than one crankbait that's out there. You're looking at deep-lipped shad wraps, shallow-lipped shad wraps. You're looking at scatter wraps. There's a whole ton of them out there. But I use crankbaits in spring. I use them in summer. I use them in fall. I use them at any time that I'm looking at targeting certain stretches of river or stretches of lake. And, you know, you've got, and the best part, too, is now you've got these baits, they're dives, too. I mean, they'll dive to 15, 18 feet just from casting. I mean, how cool is that? Now I can get to any break line I want. And one of the key elements, and I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they maybe take a crankbait that's too shallow a lip bait for actually the shoreline that you're going to be fishing or area that you're going to fish. I mean, they make contact for a little bit, and they're not quite getting to the actual break where it drops off, and they're missing where the main part of the fish is, or where the fish are located. So those elements are extremely important to keep your eyes open for and really use the crankbait.
And that equates to time on the water, you know, to understand how crankbaits work and what bait will dive at what depth. I know they mark it on the box, but oftentimes, you know, you really have to experience it or experiment with these different lines and different crankbaits to really understand how deep they go and what conditions are best to serve.
His point is to pay attention.
Pay
attention to where that bait's going and what the bait's doing. And if you're going to rip that bait along, you know, the front of a weed line in the spring or in the fall, then make sure you've got the right bait that gets to the right depth.
Yeah. And where the fish are.
And that's it. Where the fish are.
You got to put it in the strike zone.
Get down where the fish are, right?
Listen, Eric.
And that's a good point, guys. I think one of the things that also is it happens, and I think we talked about the other day when we were kind of talking about where we're going to go with it. And one of the things you see is that lakes are in transition. They're always evolving, and they're not always going to be the same.
Right.
Prime example, you're going to find maybe some additional weed growth in some areas and some lakes. Maybe the water's down, and it gives them the ability to have some weed growth that it didn't have in the past, and then the lake comes back up, and it's got more weed growth shallow. And that's really a lot of the direction I see some of these lakes going. And, you know, it may be that they're clearing up. Maybe they have an invasive species or whatever it is, that, you know, zebra mussel or something that's cleaning the lake up. But a lot of things happen, and guys we got to think out of the box when we're going to these lakes that may be in transition. And this is really where I'm going to. Most guys that are going fishing for walleye, I think they're going to go, let's go in the rocks. Let's go fish.
Right.
It's going to be deep rocks, or it's going to be shallow rocks. It's going to be rocks and sand and gravel, and that's what it's going to be.
Well,
fortunately,
yeah.
I got news. There's a lot of transition areas, and it's those weeds, areas, that kind of thing.
All right. Well, that being said, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to a weekend angler to put more walleye or more fish in the boat?
Weekend angler, be open-minded.
Okay.
You've got to be open-minded. You've got to be able to have a mix of depths of crankbaits in your box, and you've got to be able to be good and be willing to experiment with different baits. And this is the biggest thing that I tell people. Some people are good at jig fishing. What do they bring with them in the boat? They always go bring the jigs.
Right.
But maybe it's crankbaits that are going to be going that day, but they don't know how to troll crankbaits very well. The problem comes in, the only way you're going to get better is if you bring them with you in the boat and try them and force yourself to try them. That's a big effort. That's the big thing a lot of people need to do, is force themselves to really get better at the things that you're not good at and take the time to learn how and force yourself. If your baby jigs are your best thing to do. And that's how I force myself. If we have to do anything and everything in the tour, you end up forcing yourself to do different things. You leave the jigs out if you're a jig fisherman. You force yourself to put the crankbaits in the boat. Tough thing to do, but it's going to make you better. And I think the other thing that's going to really help a lot of people is take the time to know how to operate your boat and keep your boat, or boat handling, how to hold your boat on a spot if it's windy. Don't fish the calm side of the lake, even though it's easier.
That's a great piece of advice, Eric. You know, between the boat handling and the ability for you to micromanage the speed increments and fuel feed on your Evinrude, and you know, the hand lining technique that you described so well, and also the fact that you've got to think out of the box, be versatile. You've got to be able to fish a lot of different techniques and adjust your techniques to where the bite is going that day that you're on the water. I mean, this has been great. This is a huge eye opener for me. The crankbait idea about you know, how to be in tune with the bait, where the bait's going on the weed line. I've learned a ton of knowledge here tonight from Eric. It's been a great,
for sure. It's been a great experience.
Have him on. Eric, I know it's a Friday night, and I know you're busy. You're getting ready to go off to another tournament. Before we let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to give a shout out before we set you free? Do a long distance release on you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to have Evinrude and Ranger obviously with me for a long time in Dakota, but I'd really like to be able to welcome some new sponsors with me this year, and North America branding with them is going to be Mountain Dew. They've been jumped on board. Fleet Pride jumped on board, North America Shooting Team, and those guys have been just absolutely tremendous and stepped up this year, and you look for the North America branding truck driving around the country, and you'll see me right in it. So looking forward to that. The Ram truck will be out on tour, shall we say?
Wow, we're Ram brothers and Evinrude brothers. Then there you go.
Perfect. Nothing wrong with that at all.
You got it. It's too bad that Scotty's still in the toy, the sort of the kiddie version of the Ford, but we won't hold that against him.
Why all of a sudden I'm being picked on here?
I've been very happy with the new vehicle. I just got it, and pulls like a dream and drives like a dream, and They've been a great supporter of the new the circuit that I fished, the Cabela's National Walleye Tour, and look for it on TV. They're going to be in a ton of channels and a ton of different times, and a lot of fun examples of what's going on the tour and new techniques and tactics for everybody. So a lot of fun and a lot of TV that we have not had before on the walleye side of it, and I'm excited about it. I know that much, and it's nothing but bigger things coming down the road for us. So big things, and I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a great time.
Well, it's been a treat to have you on, and it's a pleasure to have an expert as yourself.
Well, that's it. This guy's good. He can put the money in the boat. He can put the fish in the boat. This guy's a real deal. Eric, thanks very much for taking some time out on a busy Friday night. I know your schedule, and we really appreciate it on behalf of the listeners and on behalf of Scott and myself. We'll be touching base definitely with you again as the season moves on.
Yep.
Take care on tight lines and some big checks for your future, buddy.
I appreciate that. Certainly, anytime you guys want to call, feel free. You guys be good, tight lines as well, and we'll talk to you soon.
All
Sounds
right.
Good. Thanks,
Take
Eric.
care.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
What a terrific guy, eh?
Yeah,
these
great.
guys, I mean, these Evinrude Pro-Staff guys are all so
very
easy to talk to,
smooth. That's it.
They're so professional.
And they know their product.
Well, they know their product. Look at this guy. I mean, he's adjusting speeds, like on his Evinrude.
You know what I find interesting is a lot of the pro staffers, they take it to heart, the development of the product. Like he said, we develop.
Well, that's it. That's the deal.
He integrates himself into the development of the product.
He's part of the family.
He knows exactly what he needs to get out of the product.
Yep.
He gives that feedback back to the engineers.
And they design it into the product.
And they work together to get that result.
That's what Evinrude is all about.
Yeah.
That's what Evinrude is all about. That's why they have such a 5-star product out there right now. That's why we got them on the back of our boats.
Exactly.
That's the way we roll.
Well, if I had a boat.
Well, the one coming has an Evinrude on it.
Yeah, it does.
You got an Evinrude on your head.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, before we go to our next guest, designer elite, Mr. Loïc Ayotte, we're just going to pay some bills with another commercial.
Loïc's got 7 minutes.
Yeah, and we'll be right back.
And counting.
Evinrude outboard motors with E-Tech technology are designed to keep you on the water doing what you enjoy and not sitting in the shop. 3 years or 300 hours before you need to service your Evinrude E-Tech power plant. 2-stroke power combined with the economy of a 4-stroke. For those dedicated to water, power, fishing, and fun. Evinrude, official motor sponsor of Mike and Scott's BS Session.
And with that, we bring Loïc onto the show.
There you go.
Welcome to the show, Loïc.
Guys.
Are you back from vacation? Are you finally back to work?
I think Loïc had us on mute or hold.
Yeah, he did. He put us on hold.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I heard elevator music.
How dare you, sir?
I've been waiting for you guys to acknowledge me for like an hour.
An hour? Oh, it's that time zone difference with the West Island.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
I was told you're gonna come on just before Eric, do a little skit, and then Eric's gonna come on and you're done.
Oh, I know, but I tell you right now, we got the time zones mixed up tonight.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of delay on the first guest.
There was a little bit of confusion on Mike's end.
On the Mike's end.
Wow. But you know what? It all worked out because I've been looking at my Navionics app on my phone, and I was going over all of Scotty's favorite spots, and I'm like, wow, that's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Ooh, thanks for hacking into my stuff.
But I just did it to have a laugh because with the water levels being what they are this year, I was like, oh man, is he gonna have a shock on this one? Oh, this one's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, he thinks this is a shallow spot.
That's sabotage.
There's 12 feet there.
More like
yes. Oh, speaking of a Navionics iPhone app, we got a winner.
Let's hear it.
We have a winner.
We got a winner.
Oh,
and how do you say winner for a female winner?
I don't know. That's
I think
a winnerette.
A winnerette.
A winnerette?
I'm not touching this one with a 10-foot pole.
You better
Gotta stay away.
I'm going to say something, and every woman in the world is going to hate me.
Well, it's bad enough we started the show talking about your crabs.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Right there.
That didn't help.
Now we're talking about a female, and that with the crabs is just not going to work.
There's a solution to the problem. It's called a clipper.
I heard it's penicillin.
Penicillin too. No, actually penicillin and crab. I don't know. It's a clipper, my friend. A clipper.
Javet?
Hey.
I'm not going to go there.
A little bleach.
For anybody who doesn't know, the guy on the other end of the telephone here tonight is Mr. Loïc Ayotte, our webmaster extraordinaire and banner designer. For all you guys who've been sending me the compliments about these great banners, I had absolutely nothing to do with these banners. I have the creativity of an eggplant, and so does Scott. But these banners are actually done by the gentleman you're having on the end of the phone. He does an extraordinary job with that. We get compliments from both our sponsors and our guests on the great job you do with that, Loïc. So hats off to you. And Loïc was part of the draw to find out who was going to win the iPhone app.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, and it was what, Loïc? It was up to when we got to 300 likes on Facebook.
Yeah, when we got the contest was to get us to 300 likes on the BS session page, and we hit it just in time, like we wanted before season starts, so we could get someone their Navionics app before the season started, because you want that as soon as possible. Okay. And we did, actually, and I was wondering, with all of the likes that we've been getting from down south, from our neighbors in the U.S., one of them's going to get it. But as it turns out, the name that comes up is a name I've heard before. I don't know this person personally, but I think maybe one of you guys do.
Okay.
Yeah, so the grand winner for the Navionics contest.
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
What?
I won the app?
No.
No. No. The winner is Lynn Gervais.
Get out of town.
Yeah, Lynn Gervais.
I'm telling you.
Won the app.
That's Jean-Marie Landry's wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
So are you telling me she doesn't need it?
Hey, congratulations, Lynn.
Yeah, congratulations.
I don't know what the procedure is to get you the app, but it's yours.
Yeah, it's yours. And you know something? I'm in a giving mood tonight.
Loïc,
let's give away another one. Look at what? 400 likes or 500 likes? How do you want to do this?
Well, what are we at now? We're at like 300.
How about since you're feeling generous, let's see if we can blitz this one. 400 likes.
400.
All we got is like what? 60, 70 likes to go.
Yeah, and and we'll give away another one.
Okay.
That is great, Lynn Gervais. Lynn Gervais.
Yeah, so Lynn, if she's not listening, what I'm gonna do later tonight or tomorrow morning, I'm gonna send Lynn, because she's on Facebook, obviously she liked us. I'm gonna send her a private message from the BS session page with instructions. Yeah,
sounds great. Well, congratulations once again to Lynn.
Yeah.
Lynn Gervais for winning the app.
That is great. Applause here. Put applause. We're in the garage, we can applaud.
Yeah, well, there's only the two of us here. Loïc, we didn't hear your applause. What happened?
Well, because the way I'm dialing in, guys, this is a little bit of an education for you there, Scott. When you call into the show, if you're the caller, if you make a lot of noise, nobody hears the host.
With a stab.
You know what? I had to give you a little bit, because I listened to the show that you guys did while I was away. Oh, boy. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all. Hey, was that good, eh? Well, there you go. Well, Loïc, listen, thanks for calling in tonight. You're missing that name. Lynn is going to be really excited. I know she's going to love this app. The Navionics iPhone app is just sick, and I can't wait till it's available.
I lived on that app.
Yeah, I
lived on it.
And you got to go get the enhanced hotspot thing and everything else that comes with it. It's a great, great app. It really is.
It really is. And you can track. It's really got all the GPS functions now.
Oh, it does. It's crazy.
It's as if you're looking at your Lowrance unit,
Lowrance. I put it on the car.
Yeah.
Guys, quick story before I leave. I was trolling last year and beginning of December, and I had a problem with my sonar, my GPS on my boat. The GPS receiver was not working well, and I kept losing position, and I didn't know my speed. And when you're trolling in the late fall, it's all about pinpoint accurate speed. I had my phone. Right. I pulled my phone out. I turned on the Navionics app, which also has speed. It gave me my speed, where I was, my brake line that works. It saved me for a couple of days.
Wow, that's great. No joke. That is sick.
Yeah.
You've got to get. Lynn's going to be excited because Jean-Marie loves loves fishing and everything else. I'm sure she's gonna pull this phone out in the boat, and John Marie's gonna go, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna say, I got it off.
Well, it truly is. It truly is an amazing tool to have, and with technology these days, there's just no stopping them.
For sure. Loïc, thanks for being with us tonight, buddy. We know you're gonna go to the family tonight. It's Friday night. But thanks for taking the time to call in and give us that winning name of the iPhone app, Madame Lynn Gervais. And we may see you on Sunday, buddy.
It is a possibility. It was nice to have to be on with you guys once again, and we'll be in touch.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Take
Loïc.
care.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, my friend.
Well, we are out of time.
We're running out of time. We're going to give a big shout-out tonight to all of our friends at Team Evinrude. Eric Olson tonight, thanks for being on. Evinrude Pro-Staff.
Jill Johnson,
Cynthia Bichette, Pierre Ouellette from our Evinrude family, and Steve the Boss Man Bosley at Basscat. Rochelle Chouinard of Navionics, thank you for supporting us and actually enabling us to give this app out tonight to Lynn Gervais. And Wayne and the boys at Bennett's Bait and Tackle, Scott over at Zico Shoes, and Gary Gosser and the man over at Fish and Tech for all your boat bling. Sponsor recognition, Claude Castonguay, Benoit Blais, and Derek Lemieux at Maple Grove Marine. What? Crazy service over there. If you're running an E-Tech, woot woot. That's K-Way Outdoor Wear.
I wore my K-Way.
I think I might be wearing it. I might be wearing it tomorrow. Get protected from the elements. We're not thinking about wasting your boat. Sims Baits.
The bait of glory. Where's my sweater?
making sure you get back. Navionics, making sure you get back on both land and water. Power pole. Nothing holds your boat stronger than a power pole anchor, and I'm going to be running mine tomorrow. And Mustang Survival. They save lives for a living. Look us up tomorrow in Bay Missisquoi at the second Big Pike Challenge for FishingCanada.net. We'll be there with the Evinrude team, and we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. Scotty, where's our show available?
You can find us on Blog Talk Radio, or you can find us also on iTunes in the podcast section.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find us on FishingCanada.net under the radio network, and on WRVO Radio Network, located at Reno Viola Outdoor.com. Spreaker, smart radio app.
Look for the Fishing Canada Radio.
Yes.
They do have a mobile app, so you got to hook it up. Scotty, this was a crazy show. It went by like a bullet.
It went too fast.
It was nuts. Here we are sitting in the garage.
Short on time.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
But fishing season is here. We're in it. We're in it, buddy.
Full swing.
Yeah, let's punch the card on this one.
Tight lines, everybody. Thanks for listening.
It's a wrap. We'll see you next week. Take care.
This one's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can subscribe on iTunes, the WRVO Network, Spreaker.com, www.blogtalkradio.com, and www.fishin-canada.net. See you next time for another BS session.